things happen. Before we run out of time, you know, we've talked about all, you know, you've had so many high-profile cases, but a case that I thought was so interesting and is probably not on many people's radar was the handling of the Zapruder film.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those iconic pieces of our history. It's sort of like Marilyn Monroe's memorabilia, you know, it's just there, but you don't know who owns it or where it is and in what form it is. But it actually, I don't know how many years ago, but the family actually still owned it, right?
That's correct.
And we're going to sell it to the federal government.
Well, they owned it. They owned it, and then an act was passed, the John F. Kennedy assassination. You know, I could have a word off there.
Right.
And they said they should gather all of the information about the Kennedy
What year was this?
assassination. I was afraid you were going to.
Well, just
in the
10
70s.
years ago? Okay.
And remember, there was this film.
Right. That's what it all started with.
It is the most accurate film, Mr. Zapruder Sr.
And you watched it many times as a young man.
We all saw it. And then many years, well, the film was taken back in the 70s.
And didn't Time Life own it for a while?
Time Life owned it for a while, but then they decided they had so many requests to use it or not use it. It was a hassle.
Right.
They sold it back to the family. And I was approached by...
And was it just a school of film?
It was just a school of film. And
did they just keep it in a safe?
Well, it was put in the archive. He turned over, the old man turned over the film right away to the Secret Service. And the issue was the government took it, and how much would the government have to pay for it? And that's what we...
And when did that case happen?
We litigated. I don't remember the precise date. I'd say 6 years.
Okay. So you, interestingly, brought in a lot of experts. I think the government was offering them like $2 million.
The government probably would have gone there, but they never officially went there.
And you got experts who said that on the open market, they could get maybe up to 30, 40 million.
Yeah, and the family didn't want to sell it.
That wasn't their objective, but they felt
they needed the money. They didn't want to give it away, but they didn't want to go to
There's a big difference between $2 million and $40 million.
And so we went and we litigated it.
And they got...
we did, I think it was 17 million, 18 million something.
Fair.
Yeah, I think it was fair, and this family would have settled for much less, but the government forced us to litigate. And you know, it's interesting. Your question brings back something that happened. It was just a film, except it was a film of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And therefore, one of their early witnesses answered a question like that by the government. Oh, well, it was just a film, right? And the guy said, yeah, it's something like this. And it was such a hokey, phony, baloney thing. He pulls it up and it's all over the place. And then when I got to cross-examine him, I said, I noticed you had in your pie, you took it up and it was all, like that. I said, I said, what is it a film of? And he didn't even really know. It was just film. He just grabbed it. And I said, let me ask. He wasn't well prepared by the government. I said, let me ask you this. I said, if that was a film, that one you have in your pocket of the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, oh, he said, I wouldn't be handling it. It'd be worth a fortune. I said, precisely, So he wasn't very well. I'm not sure.
Well, whatever.
My memory.
Recent time.
Yeah.
Did you watch the film again?
I did.
And what did you see?
Oh, it was,
now,
it brought back. I got tears again. I watched it many times.
It must
we
be
all remember
clear when you see the original.
We all remember. I was an office boy law clerk at a law firm in Washington. I remember, and I lived in Arlington, driving over the bridge, hysterically crying. I remember that, and that film brought all that back. And there was a slight family connection because my uncle John Walsh, was an obstetrician and gynecologist, and he was Jackie's doctor, and actually flew back on the plane with her when she. So, I didn't know him, but there was that connection, and the family always talked about that.
Whatever I have reserved